Welcome back to the Asylum. I'm Kane.
I'm Deshaun.
And we are the Arkham Inmates. And today we have another Hot Takes video. And we haven't done one of these in a good bit. We did a Marvel one, which is broad, just everything Marvel, mainly like MCU, comics, like everything. And then we did a DC everything, you know, just movies, Zack Snyder, to comics, video games, all that stuff. So now we're going to get into more of a specific area of hot takes. So specifically, we are going to be doing Xmen, which we love the Xmen. We, if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of Xmen videos on this channel. We love Xmen. It's our favorite team.
Muties.
Mutants, like, it's just a great...
Those muties off the streets.
Get them muties off them fucking streets.
Get those fucking muties off the street.
So yeah, we love the Xmen. Have a bunch of Xmen stuff on this channel, and we thought there's definitely got to be some good hot takes to find about Xmen specifically, or mutants, or about the Fox universe of the Xmen movies, because that was a separate thing for a long time. So we're gonna get right into it. If you don't know how these videos goes, I gather up a bunch of hot takes. Some are, you know, not so hot, and some are really, really hot. He doesn't know any of them, and this is more about him, his reaction to some of the things that people have said. So I already know all of these. I'm not going to remember them until they come up, but we're going to talk about it, agree to disagree, if it's really a hot take, if it's not, and just some of these might piss Deshaun off. So let's not, you know, dilly-dally anymore.
Let's not dilly-dally.
I'm fucking up today, but let's not dilly-dally anymore. Let's
What's
get
up, Doc?
right into it. Wolverine and the X-Men is a terrible animated X-Men adaptation. I actually don't know if this is a hot take. I think the portrayal of Nightcrawler and maybe Gambit is the best thing about the show.
That's definitely a hot take.
Yeah, Wolverine and the X-Men was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a great show.
I loved it. I thought it was great. The animation is very, like, simple. It's a simple 2000s animation, but I thought it was very
This isn't
fun.
enough to piss me off. It's just like an opinionated, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, whatever.
Exactly. The portrayal of Nightcrawler in that show, if I
Awesome.
remember, I think that's the one where he, like...
Teleports from Genosha.
Yeah,
it's
from Genosha,
fucking
like,
awesome.
over and over. I love that, and I actually do like the Gambit, because I think this is the one we did a Gambit Fancast Friday, where he steals the
collar.
Yeah, and it's just so Gambit. I think the show kills it on all the levels. So, is it a hot take? Yeah, I do. I don't think it's too hot, though.
Yeah, it's
I'd
your
say
opinion.
1 out of 10,
Sounds like
probably
whatever.
like a...
I don't know, maybe it's like a 5. Someone
A
came up to
5.
me and said, I hate that. I was like, alright, fine.
Yeah,
whatever.
cool, bro. Stay away from me.
Get the fuck away from me.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Cyclops and Emma Frost are a
Okay.
better couple than Cyclops
That's
and
a
Jean.
hot take.
I agree.
Wow, really?
I agree. Emma Frost, I like Emma Frost more than Jean Grey. That's why I'm agreeing.
Okay.
I like the Phoenix. I like Jean Grey's powers. I think she's a great mutant and a helpful of the X-Men. But I don't know. I'm just tired of the Jean.
Jean! No,
Jean!
It's like
Jean!
It's like Sam and Dean.
Yeah,
Sam!
But it's like, and then the whole thing with the Goblin Queen, like the whole thing with like he doesn't know which one to pick. He doesn't know who has his kitty. He's freaking out. Like Emma is like so independent. She owns, like, she's the leader of Krakoa. She's like, I feel like her and Cyclops are more of a power couple than the whole Jean Cyclops.
It's just I can't think of Cyclops or I can't think of Jean without one of the. It's like saying Superman without Lois or Lois and nothing.
I don't think it's that big of a couple dynamic.
I do.
Really?
Yeah.
So does that piss you off, or is that still like a solid 5 or 6?
It's a solid 5. So it's whatever. That's your
All right,
opinion.
not too hot. I do agree, though. I like the Cyclops and Emma in the comics more. We've never seen it live action. They've always done the regular Jean and Cyclops, but they kind of do the love triangle with Wolverine. Not a fan of that, but, you know. All right, let's see what the next one's got. Claremont is overrated, and people just like him because of nostalgia. If you don't know who Claremont is, comic book writer. Gambit is a ridiculous character with a ridiculous costume. Cyclops was boring until Morrison put him with Emma. Emma is a more interesting character than Jean. Beast is better when he is morally questionable.
Okay.
So, one at a time. Claremont is overrated. I actually like Claremont's
I like Claremont.
comics. You know, he's good. He's very nostalgic. I'll say that. Gambit is a ridiculous character with a ridiculous costume.
That's
Go fuck yourself.
Stupid. Yeah.
Well, ridiculous costume, if you mean it in like a funny, crazy way, it is a bit like kind of that BDSM, like full leather with the hair and then like the trench coat. Like, I think it works. I think it works, but it is a very odd costume, but I think it works for Gambit. Gambit is a ridiculous character. He's fucking awesome. He's a great X-Men. He has a great inner turmoil. I think we saw that with 97. He has a great balance between growing up in a In Louisiana, having like his father's a stealer, they all steal, they all pickpocket, they're all part of Like he comes from a very line of thieves, like a very bad family, and he tries to be better by being a part of the X-Men. Like I can't do that. Cyclops was boring until Morrison put him with Emma.
I disagree with that.
I disagree.
Yeah, I just disagree. It's not because Cyclops isn't necessarily my favorite, so nothing really about him pisses me off.
Yeah, but no, Cyclops has always been the GOAT. I love Cyclops.
Oh, he's definitely, when it comes to leadership, he's a GOAT, but he's not, just for me personally,
100%.
He's not.
Emma is more interesting character than Jean. I will agree. I will agree. Jean is so, it's either Jean with her problems or Phoenix.
Yep.
And it's nothing else to it. I love Emma Frost. Yep. She's so else. I agree with that take. Beast is better when he's morally questionable. I don't know how I feel about that. Well, obviously they didn't give an explanation. So morally questionable, I'm guessing like he's willing to kill at times, which I don't agree with. He's very smart, staying away. He doesn't even want to fight. Like I even love in Last Stand in the movie the way that they portrayed him, where he's like kind of like, oh, he doesn't want to get into fight. He doesn't want to do anything. He does everything through words. But then when he does fight, he's not killing it. He's like kind of just taking him down. Yeah. And he's just like,
he's like, oh, you get the point.
Yeah, you get the point. Like he's trying to just be smart about it.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's good. I think the only thing, Gambit is ridiculous character. I think that's a bit hot. That's like a 7. That's crazy.
The rest of it's okay.
That's not gonna piss me off. All right, next one. Let's see what we got in store. Deadpool is not funny at all. He's not clever. He's annoying, and his humor is just him listing random pop culture trivia. Also, Deadpool 1 and 2 sucked.
Do we even need to discuss what kind of fucking shit is that?
Oh, we're getting him a little riled up. So Deadpool's not funny at all. I think that's subjective. Yeah. I think humor is very subjective.
Saying
if you don't like his
clever
humor,
is definitely stupid.
That's dumb. He's super clever. He's also extremely smart.
He's annoying. That's
fair. His character though. Yeah. And his humor is just him listing random pop culture trivia.
It's not all it is. Humor,
it's
but he
kind
does have a lot of it.
That's like watered down way to explain it. He's fourth wall. He's exactly what it is. He knows he's a comic book character, so he lives it up. Deadpool 1 and 2 sucked. Wrong. I don't see how. I can see if you didn't like 2 as much as 1. I think we can all agree with that. 2 was definitely a less movie than 1. I think Deadpool 1 is more solid. But both are great.
I think Deadpool 3 sucked the most out of all of them.
If we're being honest, Deadpool and Wolverine, as awesome of a movie it does not hold up to 1 and 2. I think 1 and 2 are better than 3. I will agree that story-wise.
No, I was just kidding. It goes 3, 1, 2 for me.
It goes 1, 3, 2. I think 2 holds up a little bit better, but I think as like a movie of enjoyability, like 2 is obviously the worst of them personally. But yeah, this is up there. What do we say? 1 out of 10. How hot are you? Is it to you? 7?
I'm gonna go 6.
Okay, heating up. Gambit is a D-list character that should have been killed off by now. The only reason he's still around is because of nostalgia for the 90s cartoon.
I will say they don't do a lot with Gambit, and it sucks, but
I wouldn't say D-list at all.
I don't think he's a D-list
if we're talking about the tier for, like, Beta, Alpha, Omega, like those type of things.
I think he just means in general. I don't think he means power level.
He's an Alpha mutant, but he's
Are you serious?
Not used well. Yeah, he's Alpha.
No, he's like fucking A. He's not Alpha.
Yeah, he's Alpha. He's past Beta. He's more powerful than Wolverine. He can. Okay, so Beta is people that can are dangerous. Alpha are people that can destroy the world, and then Omegas can destroy realities. Gambit, power to buy anything or that, could literally put his hands to the ground and destroy countries.
World.
He can do it over time.
The country.
He touches anything if he wants. That's the thing. I'm pretty sure he's Alpha. I don't think he's Beta. His powers are extremely up there. Look what he did in 97. He sacrificed that whole robot.
He's Alpha.
Alpha, yeah, he's Alpha. Damn, you shitting on Gambit.
I'm not shitting
on Gambit. I
thought he was low.
He's about to make a name for himself. D-list though is crazy. He's not D-list. He's if we're going by power level, he's Alpha. But
I will say
they're not utilized a lot.
The nostalgia thing I can understand, but
I don't think it's nostalgia from the '90s cartoon. I think it's more like he's just. When I think original X-Men, Gambit's in it.
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like they don't use him enough. So whenever you do see him, it has to be a nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
Because
it's like, oh, remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
rather than
need
him
to
being a part
utilize
of it.
him more.
I think '97 did it perfectly.
Yeah.
But I mean, this would piss me off. I'm more of a Gambit fan than he is. So, like, this would be like a 7 for me because I'm like, fuck you, dude. But, not that hot. Not that hot. Let's move on. While I like certain actors' performances, I don't like any of the X-Men movies. They all fucking suck.
That's so fucking stupid to say. That's like, how could you not like Days of Futures Past?
We got him.
That's fucking stupid. That's a
Ladies
10.
and gentlemen, we got him.
That's fucking ridiculous to say.
That's a hot take for you?
Yeah, not any of them.
Like he said, they all fucking suck. And they add fucking. They all fucking suck.
Yeah, dude.
So that means Logan sucks.
I almost threw this at the fucking TV.
That means Logan sucks. That means...
Yeah, what the fuck?
That means Deadpool and Wolverine sucks. That means the original X-Men and X2 sucks. That means Days of Future Past sucks. That means First Class sucks.
Yeah, get this off the fucking screen, dude.
Yeah, that's...
Fuck that.
That's...
Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Pretend Wizard
Seamus.
Seamus, yeah.
Well, shame on you, Seamus.
So that's a 10? That's up there. That's a pretty big hot take.
Fuck Seamus.
The whole X-Men versus the world thing is getting boring. Regular civilians in the Marvel Universe are used to people with superpowers. Mutants should not be that shocking. I agree, honestly.
I agree.
I honestly agree. If speaking, okay, we're gonna split this up. Speaking MCU wise, if they do the whole mutants are disgusting thing, I'm gonna be very off put because we have Hulk, Iron Man, we have gods running around. We have people with powers.
Let me say this:
should not be shocking.
When we, at the end of Captain Marvel, they're in a different universe. So in that specific universe, if mutants are more popularized and it's not really superhero-ish, it's mainly mutants, then and they go that route, I'm for it. But if they're not going the route of it's just kind of mainly mutants and there's superhero, like we have like Captain America, like we.
I mean, but they have to integrate into our timeline, so it's like
I'm saying
can't
for
really
that
have that
specific
hate.
universe.
Yeah.
But if they bring it over and there's still that hate, then no, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Also, the whole X-Men versus the world thing is getting boring. That's a little bit... I mean, X-Men versus the world is always how it is because people hate mutants. But if you're taking it into, like they said, the Marvel Universe, right? Comics-wise, yes, it's right, it's true. I think it boils down to how they got the powers. Hulk is an accident. Spider-Man was a freak accident. Like, they're all mutations.
We go into someone like Captain America, that's on accident. Iron Man, that's on accident.
Like, those things, they got their powers through, like, they either earned them or it was like they put themselves willingly through it, and technically anybody could do it. Whereas mutants, like, let's say you and me were born at the exact same time, right? And you had powers and I don't. Even though I might be the nicest guy in the world, I'm going to hate you a little bit because I wasn't bestowed upon these gifts. You're now beloved. You now have these cool abilities. Like, I feel like everybody wants to be a superhero.
Fucking Bobby's brother.
It literally, I think that's great representation, too. It's like, he called the cops on his own brother because he's just jealous that his brother can do something. So I think that's still there. But the hatred...
Dwayne, why are you in my fucking comment section, man? Go do something.
That is so...
What you said do something.
No, that is so funny because you'll see why. That is so funny. Alright, well, we'll go on to the next one. We agree with this. While Silver Age X-Men is nothing special, it's uniquely appealing to me. The Wolverine and the X-Men cartoon is better than the 90s X-Men series and X-Men Evolution combined. X-Men 97 is a huge step backwards for the X-Men as an IP and shows a lack of ambition from Marvel.
Okay, let's go with the first one.
Okay. While Silver Age X-Men is nothing special, it's uniquely appealing. I like the Silver Age. The Golden Age is like the classics. Yep. The Silver Age is that. The Modern Age is way more darker. I like that. I'm more dark appealing. Wolverine and X-Men cartoon is better than the 90s X-Men and X-Men Evolution combined.
That's crazy to say.
I will say that is a very hot take because I'm an X-Men Evolution dude.
Yeah.
I think Evolution is the best we've ever gotten.
Yep.
But I love teenage angst. Yep. So I might be biased there. But I do love Wolverine and the X-Men, but I feel like Evolution's a bit better. The 90s cartoon is still OG, though. I feel like...
Yeah. But I will say Evolution's better than the 90s in my opinion.
If I had to get rid of... If I had to only keep one show, I'd keep Evolution. I love rewatching it.
I agree.
X-Men 97 is a huge step backwards for the X-Men IP and shows a lack of ambition for Marvel.
I disagree.
I think that's terrible take.
Yeah.
I think it needs more explanation. Why is it a huge step back?
Yeah,
Why do you think that is?
They did that show perfectly, bringing it back. The way and just everything.
I wouldn't say perfectly. Some things I didn't really agree with. I think the whole Professor Charles and the whole marriage thing. I know it's in the comics, but that kind of felt like, why are we even doing this if he's just gonna come back to Earth?
I didn't even really consider that because like
it just felt like wasted time.
I agree with that. But it's like it's so like
also
not that big of a deal to me.
I will say I feel like the pacing was a little bit off. It kind of goes like great start. and then filler episode, then like continuation, then filler episode, like the whole thing with the Mojo world with Jubilee. Yes, it was fun, but it was kind of like just a Jubilee romantic thing with Sunspot. Not needed, really. It was kind of like, if we're doing that, it was a waste. Like, I would say waste of animation, waste, a time of like, why would you do that?
I disagree, because
I think it's a great episode.
You have to have little stuff like that to put more stuff into the story for your characters.
But here's the thing: Jubilee didn't get hurt, she didn't get affected, and neither did Sunspot. And it didn't really make the hit of Sunspot and her going to jail by their own parents any harder. It was kind of just the romantic thing.
Yeah, but then you also see his own parents and the way they're treating him.
But do you think taking that episode out would change the flow versus keeping it? I think
not of the story itself, but
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But whenever you have episodes like that, it's made for characters.
Personally, I'd give the show a 9 out of 10. It's just the only thing was pacing with the little things and just the characterization of certain things. But as a fucking X-Men show,
it's great.
It's up there. It's fucking awesome. So I don't get the step back as X-Men as an IP. I think the IP is going strong right now. And the lack of ambition for Marvel, I will agree with you that. Marvel is getting very lazy with shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, but that's why I'm saying I think the fact that we're getting X-Men 97 and we're getting these animated shows, and I feel, I don't know if it's fully official, but I think they're doing Spider-Man 97, right? Didn't they say that they're bringing the old Spider-Man show back?
They did?
Because remember we saw He Found Mary Jane. And Mary Jane's back, so like people were wanting that, and they said that they might do it, and I don't know if it's the same studio, but but I feel like I don't know. It's a weird take of Marvel. Some projects do lack ambition, but I don't think X-Men's faulty for that. But not too hot. We're not getting anything too crazy.
Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot.
To be perfectly honest, I am one of those jerks who didn't enjoy Logan that much.
I don't even want to talk about this. This is so stupid to say. I'm nothing.
I told you I'd find one.
I have nothing to say to that.
I told you I'd find one.
Like,
you didn't enjoy Logan. Really?
Like how I just.
It's not upsetting though.
It's upsetting. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. I don't know what to say.
it's just, so enraging.
It's what it doesn't even enrage me. It's just like. It's like he's mentally ill.
Why do you think he's mentally ill? Why do you think he wouldn't enjoy it though? Like
he's mentally ill.
No, I would say that if you were
unwell.
But here's the thing: if you are there to see Wolverine kick ass and take names, you're in the wrong movie. You know what I mean?
Talking about this was his first movie where he really started kicking ass, fucking killing people.
No, it's not. It's not about the killing people. I'm saying, if you're looking for the Wolverine, that's not what Logan is. Logan is a very slow, depressed, and yes, there's action, and yes, there's killing, but he's dying, he hates himself, he wants to kill himself, the whole world is against him, the mutants are over, Patrick Stewart, it's a very depressing, bleak movie, but it's such a great ending to a character that we grew up with. But if you're wanting a badass Wolverine, I would not pick Logan. I would pick Days of Future Past. I would pick X-Men 2. I would pick X-Men Origins Wolverine. He's very badass in that movie.
I think that's like...
I think
you're
Wolverine.
on this guy's level right now. You saying that?
I think Logan is a 10 out of 10 movie, but it's not.
I understand. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you don't think that picking that Logan's an action like.
I'm saying he might be the person that wants to see a peak Wolverine, that wants to just be an unstoppable killing machine, badass Wolverine. That's not Logan.
Okay, I understand that, but that's not how you were phrasing it.
I'm not meaning that Logan isn't badass and that he kicks ass in that movie. He does. He always does.
Okay.
But I'm saying when you watch Logan, you're watching a character study.
You mean this guy might be in the mindset he wants to see Prime like
he's
Wolverine.
Wanting to see
like
Logan
X-Men,
lose his mind.
If
like
they took the
some
action,
Weapon X
if they
shit.
took the action level from Logan and put it into
X-Men
Origins,
Wolverine, and made it good. That's what he wants.
That's fine.
He was wanting Weapon X shit, and that's not what this is.
That's fine.
That's the only benefit I'm giving him why he wouldn't enjoy it if he went in for the wrong reasons.
But still,
I don't agree with him. No,
take.
I don't agree with him. It's a phenomenal movie. So you would say that's like the hottest thing, 10 out of 10 right now? Yeah. Mutants being the next stage of evolution is ridiculously dumb and goes against what the X-Men try to represent by saying, hey, guess what? The Great Replacement Theory is real. Also, that's not how evolution works. It's a pretty good talking point. I'm so getting the information. Mutants being the next stage of evolution is ridiculously dumb. And goes against what the X-Men try to represent as saying, hey, guess what? The replacement theory is real. I kind of agree. Mutants being the next stage of evolution, that's not how evolution works. Well, evolution works in a way of mutations of your environment. So technically, the way that Charles explains it is that the separation between humans and mutants is just the dormant X gene that everyone has. So would that really be evolution? Because every human has it. Like, if you and me were born mutants, and then, like, your sister wasn't, you and your sister are the exact same. It's just her X gene is recessive, and yours is not.
I agree a bit with him saying the next stage of evolution is kind of dumb, like that saying.
Yeah.
Because...
I mean, that's Magneto's whole thing.
Yeah. So when the X-Men represent...
Yeah.
What he just said, I kind of agree with this.
I agree with the fact of, like, the great replacement theory is real, because it kind of is like, hey, you guys are going to turn into us eventually. Yeah. That's how evolution works. So it's like, you're going to die out. And I mean, that's why the humans are scared.
And that's
because they think they're going to die out.
It's going to fuel their fear, because they're going to think, like, oh my god, we're going to die out and be taken over by them.
Exactly.
So it's kind of...
That's why the fear is fueled.
I was like, I agree with that.
So, what do you think? 1 out of 10 hot?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
I
Okay.
agree with that.
All right. I don't like evolution because the X-Men aren't teenagers and haven't been for a long time. Writing and marketing for angsty teenagers in the 2000s was a massive disservice to the topics of prejudice, bigotry, etc. Basically, it's like they made X-Men cool, radical, extreme teens, and I hate it. Spike is a stupid character based on Marrow, but they wanted an extreme skateboard cool dude because of the 2000s. Goth Rogue is bad, and a continuation of the original movie trilogy, making her weak and useless.
I hate all three of those. Those are all stupid takes, because when we see them as teenagers, we get to see them go to school and how they would be viewed younger, when everyone's a lot more judgmental and opinionated because you're in a school, and now you're a mutant, and now in season 2 or whatever,
with that problem.
You get exposed, and now it's like, how do we handle it at school? With, you know what I mean? Because when you're in adulthood, it's kind of like everyone has jobs, everyone has a life, so it's kind of just like...
I mean, it also shows the balance between mutants that look normal and imbalance like Mystique, or balance people that have metamorphoses like Beast, or, you know, like, he had to leave the school, you know, because he couldn't...
I disagree with number 1 wholeheartedly.
The massive disservice of topics of prejudice and bigotry, I feel like that's in high school.
Yeah.
When we were in high school, there were tons of racists. There are tons of racists in high school. There's tons of judgmental
That's
people.
That's where you really gotta get your personalities
X-Men
in
cool,
high school,
radicals, extreme teens.
especially as a teenager.
Yeah.
So number 1.
So 2, Spike is a stupid character based on Marrow, but they wanted an extreme skateboard cool dude.
I think Spike's a cool character. I know he wasn't an original character. He wasn't like an X-Men character. They made him in...
Well, he's based off Marrow, but I liked Spike. I think him versus... I think the whole Quicksilver thing with him was cool.
Yep.
I liked that his
nephew of
Storm.
Yeah, I
really liked that. I think it worked. Goth Rogue is bad. That's gonna piss a lot of people's fucking first
And plus,
crushes.
you get to see the perspective of him, because his aunt is a fucking goddess, basically, and he didn't really want to be a mutant. He thought it was...
And honestly, he hates his powers.
Yeah.
And then he actually, at the end of it, he goes with the Molochs.
Yep.
In the fucking sewers, and he becomes their leader, and it's actually so he helps them. Goth Rogue is bad, and a continuation of original movie trilogy, making her weak and useless.
I think if you're gonna do
I will
teenager,
agree.
And she's, you know, what I mean, what her power is, and she's a teenager.
It's the early 2000s.
I could see her being goth.
Yeah, the Goth Rogue. Yeah.
So I mean, I understand it for that specific TV show, but in general, if you're,
I don't think it's bad. I think it works for the angst.
If for that specific TV show, but I mean, in general, as a character, then I don't want a goth.
But the movie trilogy making her weak and useless, I will agree that the original X-Men trilogy did not utilize Rogue at all. Yeah. And also, if you're not a comic book fan and you only know the movies, then you wouldn't know that Rogue can fly, has super strength, super speed. Like, she's very powerful. But you wouldn't know that because they really...
She can shoot lasers out of her eyes, as long as she's touching Cyclops.
Well, true. So yeah, I feel like the first 2 are very hot. That's like, you must have really just don't like angsty shit.
Yeah.
Mutants are responsible for 90% of their own problems.
I agree.
I think wow, really? Yep. I would disagree, dude.
I'd go a little
90%?
No. Let me say. I'd go maybe, I could see 80.
What's your
reasoning? 90 might be a little high. I think the outbreaks, like the kid that fucking killed everybody, and Wolverine had to kill him so no one else found out. Yeah. Like, can you imagine how many times shit like that's happened? And it's kind of a mutant problem that creates a bigger problem for mutants. And then I think the main thing of
what this is saying is, like, mutants are responsible for 90% of their own problems. I feel like it's more like the battle with the humans, or the battle with Magneto, or like the acceptance by other people.
Well, here's another thing. Everybody's life's different, so everyone has different experiences. So if you're a mutant and how you're going to be portrayed by the public, and based off of how you've been raised and who's treated you which way is gonna kind of show if you're a Brotherhood or if you're an X-Men. If you're the X-Men, you're gonna kind of be more, oh, we're for humanity. And if you're a Brotherhood, it's against humanity. And you have a big chunk, even if it's 50-50, it's still a big chunk of the Brotherhood that's fucking doing crazy shit, stealing this, that. It's kind of like when we have riots, like the LA riots right now. Like, motherfuckers that are stealing and looting and doing all the crazy shit.
It's like the other ones look bad.
They're making it all look bad.
Yeah, like
so it's kind of like, it's kind of, I would go a little lower than 90, but I can understand what he's saying. Like, you know what I mean?
I was thinking of it in the sense that, like, in the sense of, like, Senator Kelly hating mutants, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that the mutants themselves caused him to be hateful.
No.
To then cause Trask to create the Sentinels that then would create Nimrod and that would end the Earth for everybody. I don't think that's...
I agree.
And then, like, most of the time when the X-Men get into problems or get into situations, they're really fighting other mutants or they're fighting other stuff, but it's not really in the sense of they created the problems or, like, other mutants created it. It's that it's the battle of ideals, and the humans are just kind of like, we want you out of the way entirely.
And I agree, because Scott made that point in X-Men 97.
Exactly, like, we're always there to save you.
He's like, what else do I have to do to prove to you that I'm a person?
Yeah.
So I agree with that to that degree, but also, like, what I was just saying, you know what I mean?
I agree with your sense in, like, a lot of the stuff that they do to even try to fix things backfires for so much other stuff, because you have mutants, obviously. Like, Sabretooth is a fucking menace. Yeah. He kills people all the time. Like, no fucks about it. Magneto will take lives.
And you also have to take into account, if you're a human, and 90% of the mutants you've been around are like X-Men or Mystique or fucking like those characters, and then you see these people trying to do good, obviously you're not going to be in that mindset.
Your perspective's going to be completely different.
You're going to be like, like, I understand them, but I kind of fucking hate you guys because my mom fucking died. Like, you know what I mean? Some crazy shit.
It kind of reminds me of Civil War. Whenever Tony is like, because he got faced directly with a grieving mother, and like, you killed my son because of your antics, like, blah, blah, blah.
I feel like Cap still would have been like, I understand her opinion.
No, I understand, but I'm saying, like, in the way that the mutants are, is that, like, Cyclops could, be fighting Magneto, and he shoots him down, but the Magneto hits a building or something, and it kills humans, and technically, like...
That's a mutant crime.
Yeah, and that mutant problem is the reason why humans hate them so much. I can kind of see it. Yeah. 90%'s a bit much.
Yeah, that's what I said. 90 be lower, but I understand what it's saying.
Alright. Hot take, Deadpool and Wolverine is kind of mid. 8 out of 10 for me. A movie carried by nostalgia, lots of cameos. Story-wise, it's mid. Some of the fourth wall breaking comedic references ain't even funny.
I disagree with that last part. Everything else I can see, 100%.
I agree with him saying that it's kind of mid. I can see that with the nostalgia and everything. But also, 8 out of 10 is mid. 8 out of 10 is pretty... He says it's 8 out of 10 for him, but he says it's mid.
When he says mid, he means... when
it just wasn't peak, I'm guessing. Story-wise, it's mid. I will agree. The story is very straightforward, very bland, very, like, just straight superhero movie. But I think that's what we all went for. Yeah. Some of the fourth wall breaking comedic references ain't even funny. I can't even remember any jokes that didn't land. I think they all carried.
That's what I was saying. I disagree with the last part. Everything else I can see and I can kind of agree with.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with. I don't think it's mid as in what you're saying of, like, oh, nostalgia carries it. Lots of cameos. Also, that's not true. People have to need to get the definition of cameo correct, because cameos are people that show up for less than a minute. Like, that's a cameo. Like, maybe a little bit of talking here and there, maybe 2 minutes.
Stan Lee's in is a cameo.
Yeah, that's a cameo.
But
so, like,
fucking
Gambit,
Spider-Man,
Blade,
those aren't cameos.
all of those ones, that's supportive characters. And hell, I would even say the people at his table, like the whole beginning where he's talking to the grandma and everything, they're still supportive characters. Maybe Happy Hogan, that would have been a nice cameo, since I was just, like, something like that. Oh, that is it. Awesome. That is it. So, out of all of these, what do you think, Scale? You think some of these got you a bit riled up more than Marvel or DC? Or
stupidest one was saying that Logan was like a dumb movie or wasn't good.
Yeah, well, he said he didn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
I think that's what. And then the other guy, I think a couple back, he said, yes, I saw Logan, it was okay. But let us know, what is your hot take? Let us know in the comments down below. Do you have a hot take? Do you not like some of the X-Men movies? Do you think that an X-Men movie that everyone hates is actually the GOAT? I mean, I stand on the hill that X-Men Origins Wolverine is one of my favorites. I think it's so fun to watch, and people fucking hate that movie, which, hey, to each his own. But Let us know what you guys think. Let us know down below. Maybe we can come up with some more ideas or hot takes to piss Deshaun off a bit more. But that'll be it for this video, and we thank you guys for being one of the inmates here at the asylum. Peace.